Now that her charm was working on Chin again, Yao pesters him by showing up uninvited and demanding he return the contract to her. However, Chin pulls the Uno reverse card on her and pushes her against the wall, asking whether she'd like to sleep with him, which embarrasses her and she leaves immediately, much to his amusement. That night, the chairman invites Chin and Yao to his house for dinner, and Yao agrees to accompany him after he rizzes her up once again. During dinner, Cheng's greedy uncle, Ching Wei, accuses Yao of marrying Chin for his money, making him take a jab at the chairman's wife, who also came from nothing. This pisses the chairman off and he takes him away to have a private talk, during which he questions why he and Yao still live separately and lectures Chin on how they should start living together. Meanwhile, Ching Wei comes across Yao and criticizes her for using him to become a part of this rich family, and later, Jing Yi, the woman the chairman wants to set Quinn up with, tells Yao to leave him for some millions of yen. She's rescued by Chin, but when they head back, they get into an argument and Yao gets out of the car, while Chin waits a bit further down the road for her to come back and swallow her pride. Yao stubbornly waits for the bus, only to be ambushed by Sheng Si. She turns down all his advances, but forgets to take her phone with her, and after Chin obtains it somehow, he heads to her house to return it, but refuses to hand it to her unless she changes his name on her contact list. As she tries to snatch it from him, she falls into his arms and they almost kiss, making a flustered Yao force him out of her house. The next morning, Jin Yi pays Quinn a surprise visit in hopes of exposing that he doesn't live with his so-called wife. However, Song saves the day by bringing her there at the final minute, and the two put on a lover's show to prove her wrong. After she leaves, Yao initially taunts a tantrum but calms down when Chin blow dries her hair, and that night, both of them struggle to sleep, and Chin ends up decorating his guest room for Yao to move in. The next day, before she officially moves in, he takes her on a shopping spree and even plays the role of her personal teddy picker, much to her amusement. That night, she sneaks out of her room to find the contract, only for Chin to catch her off guard. She ends up in his arms once again, only this time it flusters her even further since she's wearing nothing but a bathrobe. After she barely makes her escape, Yao makes it her goal to find the contract, which leads her to Chin's basement. However, before she can break in, he catches her, and the next day, after sending him off to work, she calls her friends to break the code, only for it to set the alarm off. While they make their escape, Chin returns only to find the basement carpet on fire. This triggers his panic attack, and though he manages to extinguish the flames, the trauma makes him lose all his strength. Yao helps him calm down and falls asleep, and after he wakes up, he tells her all about his past and why he's going after the chairman's company to find the culprit who took his father from him. Yao is touched to learn all of this and agrees to help him, and the next morning the two sign a 1-year marriage agreement after Chin returns the contract to Yao and she tears it off. Sometime later, Sheng Si offers Yao's agency a job for 1 million yen, but she turns it down. On the other hand, Chin closes in on signing the contract with Joseph, the international mandate, and welcomes him and his wife to China. Yao, who's made all the arrangements for their welcome, ends up embarrassing Chin without even trying by making it all seem extra, leading to an argument between them. This argument causes Yao to lose the cover for her eyes, and Joseph ends up falling under her spell. As he simps for her all evening, Chin finds it unpleasant and tells him to return to where he came from. Following this, Chin is blamed for sabotaging a multi-billion-dollar deal, and Yao feels bad for him. To make matters right, she visits Joseph at the hotel, only for him to instantly attack her with ill intention. She barely makes her escape through the balcony, which Chin catches sight of, and as she runs out of the room next to Joseph's, Chin rushes upstairs and embraces her the moment he finds her, much to everyone's surprise. Following this, tension continues to grow between the two of them, and Yao decides to break their marriage contract and pay him the 1 million yen penalty instead. For this reason, she takes on Sheng Chi's job offer. However, when she finds that he's the one behind the anonymous bidder, she tries to walk away, only to trip and fall into his arms. Jing Yi, who was spying on them, takes a picture of this scene and posts it online, bringing a swarm of reporters all around Yao. While she struggles to counter their interrogation, Chin rushes to her aid, embraces her in front of everyone, and announces their upcoming wedding ceremony. As the wedding preparations begin, Chin takes Yao to select a wedding dress for herself, only to be left completely in awe of her beauty once she wears one. He He drapes a veil on her head to hide her eyes and promises to protect her from the effects of her charm in the future. The night before the wedding, Yao visits her mother and tells her that she wishes she could be there to watch her wear her first white dress, while Chen stares at his plot board and takes in the huge step he's taking. On their wedding day, Shang-Xi overhears Shen calling Yao's wedding with Chen a contract agreement, and Jing Yi steals the USB holding something that Yao had presented as a surprise for Chen. However, after she walks down the aisle with her hand in Chen's hand, she instead plays him Cheng's favorite song on a piano, the one that she hummed to him on their previous trip, and makes him almost tear up. After this, as the two of them exchange their vows and rings, Ji Cheng receives a call from the hospital about Yao's mother's suddenly deteriorating condition and runs up to her to inform her about this. Hearing this, Yao instantly runs out of the wedding hall, dropping the ring Chen was about to put on her finger in the process. As the two of them abandon the ceremony and rush to the hospital, Chen calls a famous doctor from overseas and performs a dangerous but life-saving surgery on her mother. Meanwhile, Yao leans on Chen's shoulder and cries and apologizes for sabotaging their wedding. Later, once her mother was out of danger, Song discovers that the date of her accident coincides with the day Cheng's house was set on fire, and they start believing that there's a connection between the two. On the other hand, news about the runaway bride makes Chen's company lose a hefty amount of money, and he's forced to wager his position as the CEO against the claim that he'll make twice as much money if he wins the bidding for an upcoming resort project. Meanwhile, Yao goes to live to clear all the misunderstandings about the reason why she ran away, and gets emotional when the visitors start bashing Chen, something that he overhears. Just as her outburst wins the fangirls over, he walks into her room, making her livestream immediately, and puts the wedding ring around her finger. However, just before he kisses her, Yao realizes that the stream is still ongoing and finally turns it off. And as the two of them begin to grow closer over the couple of weeks, Shang-Chi bribes both Ji Cheng and Shen with expensive gifts and merchandise into becoming his pets. One night, as Yao and Chen were about to have some good old homemade dinner, Shen calls Yao about an emergency at home on Shang-Chi's command, and they rush there to find a leaking pipe. Chen fixes it for them while Yao falls more in love with him, and right then, Chen receives a phone call and asks her to pick it up for him. While she does so, she reads Song's message about the ongoing investigation into Yao's mother's accident, but misunderstands that Chen still doesn't fully trust her. As her behavior reverts to how cold she was in the beginning, Chen receives news that the arson who set the fire to Cheng's house and the driver behind her mother's hit and run are the same person. The next day, when they visit the resort for the bidding project, Shang-Chi also shows up as Quinn's competitor from his company and tries his hardest to outdo him, only for Chen to do a number on him instead. However, Chen's relentless attempts to endanger his life just to compete with him cause Yao to lash out at him, only for the two of them to later reconcile once she asks him about Song's message and he reveals the truth about her mother's accident, admitting that he didn't tell her sooner because he didn't want to sweep her into his dirty work. From that day onward, Chen and his team try their hardest to prepare a winning bid for the resort project, only for somebody under Jingwei's command to steal all their data and send it off to all the other companies, including Shang-Chi. However, since this guy wants to play fairly against Chen, he informs him about his leaked bid, making him wonder who did it and how to fix it within 10 days. That's when Yao steps in with her master scheme and uses Ji Cheng's hacking skills to figure out how the info leaked, Shen's ears to eavesdrop on all the office gossip, and her acting skills to play Chen's generous wife. Once it was made known that Chen is aware of the rat within his office, Jingwei uses Jin Yi to deliver his next blow and sends him some info about how Yao only married him because of a contract she signed with someone else. However, since Chen was already aware of everything, the couple decides to use this opportunity to unmask the one behind Jing Yi. Yao decides it's best if he meets up with her and acts like a man whose heart just got broken, while she catches him with Jing Yi and acts like a woman who just got cheated on in hopes of luring the rat out. However, when they put their plan into action the next day, Shang-Chi shows up and almost sabotages it, and as he thrashes Chen for being a cheater and Yao throws a tantrum over it, and another employee videotapes this scene, and their seemingly failing marriage becomes the talk of the town. Luckily, however, this play also lures out the rat, who turns out to be Miss Kang from Chen's department, and she accompanies Yao to a bar where she cries cries and whines about how Chin hasn't been returning home lately and even refuses to have a baby with her, something that he's hearing live through the mic inside her dress. Hearing this, Kang offers to provide her with a tracking app to monitor her husband's movements, but she turns her down, deducing that it's too early for that right now. When she returns home, Chin instantly charms her and asks if she's so desperate to sleep with him that she's willing to rant to strangers about it. Yao in turn turns him on by actually making a move on him, only for Chin to chicken out and pull back. The next day, the couple stage a grand office fight, after which Yao cries in the bathroom, where Kang shows up once more and offers her the tracking app, only for Yao to take up the offer this time. Zhang later uses this app to counter-track Kang's location, and the team decides to catch the mastermind the next time she goes to meet up with him. And on the resort's bidding day, Chin receives a call from Song about how the resort is going to lose all its value because of a nearby dumpster site, and asks Jiang to switch their current proposal to the one that was leaked. He also warns Shang-Chi about this, and the two of them lose the bid to a third party. After Chin loses this position as the CEO, a swarm of reporters surround him in front of the office, only for Yao to show up to his rescue. Seeing this, the reporters start asking them about their divorce, but she shuts them all up by kissing Chin and later drags him away. She also tells Chin it's okay if he loses his title and wealth because he can always move in with her. However, upon realizing the truth, she walks away out of embarrassment, and both of them return home to the realization that they're falling in love with each other. And although Yao was a bit skeptical about whether she deserves him or not, Chin decides to take a rather aggressive approach and asks her out to an amusement park date where he plans on confessing to her. However, on her way to their meeting place, Yao was teased by a mysterious person and kidnapped, after which Chin receives a message from the culprit telling him to get to a designated place if he didn't want her dead. In a state of panic, he rushes to an empty parking lot where he spots a van with Yao inside, and he tries to wake her up, only to be tased in the back and abducted. This is all about Chin and Yao's contract relationship for now. Leave a comment down below if you want us to continue the story, and make sure to like and subscribe. Also, let us know which story you'd like to see next, and I'll be seeing you guys on our next video.
And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.